Hello everyone, my name is Kong Shunani and welcome to my YouTube channel Neuro Chat with AG. On this channel, I plan to cover topics that are closest to my heart and support the neurodiverse community. Topics related to neurodiversity, autism, late autism diagnosis, and autism in women and girls. I will interview thought leaders, esteemed researchers, scientists, professors, doctors, and psychologists and seek their views and updates on their latest work and research. I will also chat with parents of neurodiverse kids and adults and talk about experiences of neurodiverse individuals. Lastly, keeping inclusivity as a topmost priority, we might also discuss controversial disparate views for a collective understanding of issues and respect for diverse views. All the views and topics discussed are for informational purposes only. If you are interested in watching more quality content on this topic, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to press the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is uploaded. Please also share the channel with your friends, family, and social media platforms. Thank you. Miss Becky Large is the founder and executive director of the Champion Autism Network and CEO of the Autism Travel Club and Card Program, previously Champion Autism Network CAN, an organization dedicated to supporting families and individuals affected by autism. She founded it to create a more inclusive and understanding community for those with autism. Under her leadership, the Autism Travel Club has become a significant resource for families, offering programs and services to improve quality of life and foster greater acceptance of autism. Ms. Becky's efforts also focus on helping local businesses become autism ready by training staff to better serve families affected by autism. She has become a leading voice in the autism community, advocating for the needs of those with autism while working to create a more inclusive society for people of all abilities. Ms. Large, welcome and thank you very much for the time today.
Oh, happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Could you tell us about your journey and how you got involved in the field of autism?
So, I have two boys and one who is high functioning autistic. And we relocated from the Philadelphia area to the Surfside Beach, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach area in the spring of 2012. So we've been here a while, and it's just seemed much different down here, and it didn't seem like there was any services or anything. And after scratching the surface, learned that there's all these wonderful organizations that support the person with autism, through different therapies, OT, PT, ABA, but really nothing to support the family unit. Because autism with it, the sensory overwhelm and all that can become overwhelming. And, people with autism, since it's a communication disorder, when they leave the house, generally speaking, they get overwhelmed. They have tantrums and meltdowns. The public at large is very judgmental, thinking that they're, evil spawn or horrible parents, where really we're a family in crisis. So what I tried to do was to create autism awareness and then curate environments for the person with autism to make them happier with less, sensory, stimuli, and and so that the entire family could come out and play. And we started with sensory-friendly movies in the spring of 2013, and we've been holding them every month since. So that's where the lights are up, the sound is down, and people are free to move around. And our families loved it and wanted to know what else there was, and that kind of led to the broader training program of restaurants. That's where our families wanted to go first. And then, hey, we're living in this wonderful tourist destination. Let's invite the whole autism world to come play with us. So it's just kind of grown from there.
How do you think, like you mentioned, being a parent of an autistic child influenced your parenting style and approach?
One thing that I've learned, and unfortunately for our son, it wasn't until a little bit later, is we're always trying to figure out what was motivating the behavior. Like, what was that particular reason that the tantrum or meltdown occurred, or, whatever, behavior it was that seemed disruptive. And, they he couldn't put into words necessarily. Could it be the tag in his shirt? Did he get bullied at school? Just trying to figure that out. And it wasn't until he was a little bit older where I stopped trying to dissect that and just approach him, this is him. This is a human being. This is, his response to certain situations, and I don't have to figure out exactly what motivated it. So I think when I speak to my son about everything that, that we're doing, but for him, Champion Autism Network or the Autism Travel Club wouldn't have been started. However, it's much greater than him now, right? Because I meet hundreds and thousands of people with autism and families with autism, and, with, the full range, the spectrum of behaviors and issues and comorbidities and all that stuff. So it's, I think I like to say I practice and preach non-judgment, which is not easy to do with your own kid.
That thing that kind of led you to create the Autism Travel Club and work you to support the community. So could you tell us more about like, kind of what led you from, I guess your parenting to deciding to make the Autism Traveling Club?
When I started with the movies, it was, I got affiliated with an organization that was 2 hours south of us called the Low Country Autism Foundation. And the thinking was that up here in this area was that it was very transient and there really weren't, there wasn't a need. And I was like, oh, well, trust me, we just relocated, there's a need. And so that's kind of what started us with the movies. And it just kind of grew from there. There was a point in time, probably a couple years after I started the movies. We keep the movies free and always have, so that it became like some fundraising issues, right? And when people are giving you money, they want to know that you're not going to run away and steal it. They want to know that you're bona fide. So it really came down to money management that I started a nonprofit or a 501(c)(3). And since then, my husband will not allow me to quit. So that's what started it.
What I saw like, the modules you have at the Autism Travel Club. So one thing I found specifically interesting was working with resort staff. So could you talk a little bit more about that?
So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, when a family arrives, when a family arrives somewhere, like I would, the whole kind of like path or flow of, a vacation, you finally arrive at the resort or the hotel and you walk in, and, by this time everybody's been cooped up in a car, and there's usually a line because, you can't check in till 4 o'clock, and, the staff and everything. So just trying to make sure that the family is supported in a way, right? So a lot of our hotels and resorts allow curbside check-in, or to call and say, we'll be there in 30 minutes, or if there's a line to get to the head of the wait. And then there's, all the kind of trickle down effect. We like schedules. So can we schedule housekeeping? Are there certain things that we can do? And, we've had some families request that we remove toilets and commodes because some people with autism like to flush things down the toilet, So it's just really being ready to serve and react to what that particular family's needs might be. And, not every request can be met, but at least having them open, or the staff and management open to that, and understanding that there could be some awkward behavior, there could be some strange requests, but, like I said, non-judgment, we're just here to support and serve.
You have both online and in-person programs. So how do you build these different programs and how do they complement each other? If, for example, someone has attended in person, would they get incremental benefits from attending online? Or if someone is not able to attend in person, would they miss out on critical learnings?
No, actually, so we started with everything, all the trainings being live and on site. That's how we started. And we are just getting ready for our national. We had a team of 10 trainers getting ready to go, travel around the country to train a bunch of resorts. That was in January of 2020. and we got shut down right in mid-March of 2020, um, which was, it was very exciting to be able to start that. But then we got shut down. So we took the program and translated that into the online modules. So a lot of the information is kind of the same. One thing that was really important when we were doing the live trainings was a kind of an autism simulation, which we kind of took a game of, the card game Spoons, but we would create, we'd have people wear glasses and, we'd flick lights and loud noises and we'd be screaming in their ears, just trying to like make anxiety and overwhelm. So one thing that was really important when we made the modules for online was that we had some sort of autism simulation. And I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but it's a 43-second video that every person, including my son and like many others with high functioning autism, have watched it and have actually thanked us because people want to know what it's like to have autism and they have a hard time describing it. And this 43-second video is pretty anxiety producing and overwhelming. So I don't feel like somebody would miss out necessarily. Maybe like a live Q&A. Certainly throughout COVID, we did have Zoom trainings. But I'm proud of the modules. The modules are kind of fun because you can update them a little bit more readily, right? So somebody taking an online module might have more up-to-date information or the latest version versus somebody who had the live training several months ago or even a year ago.
What do you find most fulfilling about your work? With the Autism Travel Club and, with the Champion Autism Network.
I just know that we're making a difference, right? Like to a lot of times when we're talking to business owners about taking the training, and they get a little bit of a taste of, they'll watch the simulation, and many don't have any relationship or connection to autism, and they were like, "Wow, I didn't know." And it's kind of like I call it the low-hanging fruit of diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging because, that you don't have to retrofit doors or have ramps, at a certain angle for people with physical disabilities or in wheelchairs. It's you learn a couple tips and tricks, lights up, sound down, it's a little bit more than that. It's a misunderstood disorder, but it's pretty simple, right? If you can reduce the judgment and just kind of lead with love and support the families, that's great. And having been doing this since the spring of 2013, it's very fulfilling to know that we're making a difference in and full impact to entire families. Not it, by supporting the person with autism, there's this trickle down effect or trickle up or whatever you want to call it, but we're helping several people in one fell swoop. So it's kind of fun. I love it.
Are there any rewarding moments or success stories you'd like to share?
Recently, we're taking the program into other markets, and I was at an area east of Pittsburgh called the Laurel Highlands, which is 3 big counties. And I was presenting to people, business owners, chambers of commerce about the program. And this woman raised her hand. She's like, "Oh my God, my stepson, he's big, giant, he's 21, but he has the, emotional equivalent of like a 3-year-old. And we are supposed to be going on vacation to Myrtle Beach. My father-in-law is making us go, and it's a big family thing, and I'm terrified. And this sounds amazing." So they came and, they went to a lot of our different attractions. They tried restaurants. Everywhere they went, they felt seen and loved and cared for and supported. And it's life altering as a family when you feel like an outsider and you're vilified just by leaving the house or by awkward social behavior that you can't control, to be somewhere where people get it, understand, want to support you. And so we've had thousands of autism families come here for supported vacation. It's such that they feel so seen and they feel like they belong that they want to move here, which I counsel them not to, right? It's a great place to visit. You probably wouldn't want to live here. But anyway, um, it's a lovely place to be. And yes, it's warm and fuzzy for our families.
How do you think the travel industry can further improve accessibility and inclusivity for neurodiverse individuals?
And that's one thing that we're trying to work on, right? We're out there stumping. It doesn't take a lot, but it's a little bit more than people would think. It's truly a travel initiative. And but it's not super hard to implement as far as a destination or a chamber of commerce would go. Um, Certainly, I think everybody should be doing it. There is a movement to be more inclusive for neurodiverse individuals and people with autism. And we just hope that more people and more markets decide to get involved to do that. Like I said, it doesn't take a lot. And we're here to support and serve because we have a roadmap for destinations, just like we have a roadmap for our families to plan a vacation. So it's not difficult to do.
What advice would you give to families with autistic members who are hesitant to travel?
I think probably if you're able, I would probably say most of our families drive an average of 550 miles to go for a vacation. So I would suggest that you know your family the best. You know what they can tolerate. So if when you're looking to plan a vacation, um, you know, uh, going somewhere that understands you, staying in a resort or a hotel that understands autism and what you're going through is helpful. If there aren't a ton of places that are doing that right now. So I would certainly pick a destination that has some sort of autism awareness and training, for sure. If there are issues when families come here, like say with resorts, it's primarily because they go to a resort that isn't autism ready. And, they wouldn't let my son do whatever in a tube in the lazy river. And I'm like, I can't help you because you went somewhere that wasn't autism ready or aware. And I'm sorry, we can contact them again. But so just, I I I would, and I know it's not possible for everybody. I would say travel in the shoulder season when it's not the crazy silly season, but not every family can do that, right? The kids have school and work and all that other stuff. So if you can travel in the shoulder season when it's less crowded, great. If we always opt for times that are less crowded at certain things. And if not, we try and arrange sensory friendly times and things like that. But I would, and not the other big thing, don't push it. Don't push it. Like I'll just say one thing. So our sensory friendly movies, right? We keep them free on purpose because first timers never make it through a whole movie. It's like 10 or 15 minutes because it's just too different of an environment. Being in an enclosed space, even if the lights are halfway up and the sound is halfway down. But you always know first timers because they're parents and they bring in the person with autism and they go, okay, shh, quiet, sit down and be quiet. And I'm like, no, like that's not, don't make them do what they can't do, right? And I'm like, we're twirling around, sitting in every row, singing, yelling, screaming. It's not your traditional movie viewing experience, but one that is created for our people with autism. And if it comes to a tantrum or a meltdown at any point or you see it coming, just leave. Just leave, right? Save everybody, right? Just you tried. Good job. Maybe it'll go better tomorrow or later. But, don't make everybody miserable just because we have to do it. We're on vacation. Dang it, we're gonna stay till the end. Don't do that. That's what I would say. It stinks though, because not everybody wants it to end.
If you could envision the future of autism-friendly travel, what would it look like? And what are your goals for the future of the travel club to accomplish that?
Well, yeah, like we're just getting traction in the United States and Canada, which is fun. But my evil plan is I should call it an evil plan, World Autism Awareness Domination, and I would like to take our modules and put them in other languages with culturally relevant imagery. So we go international.
Mhm.
Hmm. Oh, and
And
employment.
mhm.
Want to employ because now we have all these amazing autism ready, trained and aware businesses and their employees. And if we could reduce dependence on, job coaches and ABA therapists and have servant-hearted employees who are willing to coach and work with people with autism in these trained and aware businesses, we would really, really be able to make some amazing impact on, economic impact on our the communities and people with autism. Everybody wants to feel like a part of society and they're contributing. Um, so that's the other thing, employment and international.
What role do local businesses play in this mission, in your mission, and how can they become more autism friendly?
Well, we've got, stores, restaurants, hotels, resorts, just parks, state parks, and service businesses. Anybody can become autism ready and aware by, enrolling and subscribing in the program. So the businesses pay for the training. It's anywhere between $297 for the year up to $597 for the year. We also have first responder training. So we call them essential workers, right? So we have the hospitality industry and we have essential workers, which would be first responders and educators. Um, so the business community gets involved, and that the goal is to create economic impact for the businesses that serve our families. Our families come to these places. Our businesses offer a service or a discount to our member families. So I kind of call it the AAA of autism travel. And they should be getting rewarded by extra traffic and loyalty from our families who are a loyal and growing crowd.
And what do you think the most important thing is for people to understand about autism to create the a more inclusive society?
Probably to reduce the judgment. Like if you see a tantrum or a meltdown, it's and you live in a tourist area, like when you see tantrums and meltdowns, it could be the fact that you've got a tourist child who's hangry. But if you just reduce the judgment and offer a kind smile, if it is a wicked, horrible tantrum, offer to help. Don't be surprised if they say no, but know that your kindness will never be forgotten, ever.
What's one piece of advice you would offer to someone looking to get involved in autism advocacy or support work?
I think if somebody is interested, like you, right? You were curious and wanted to know more, and then you learn more of the challenges, that there's always more to do. And so I guess probably what I would say is, having been through it, where it was like there was always more to do. And I was kind of making myself kind of crazy until I got a nonprofit coach, and they were like, you have to come up with like a plan, and you have to stop looking at the shiny object or, the issue of the day. You have to kind of choose what you want to do. So choose what you want. If you really want to make an impact, choose how you're going to support families and be an advocate. Like, what does that mean to you? And kind of stick to that. It's kind of, I guess, for, just kind of stay in your lane for a little bit, and then you can grow from there. But, that's one of the things, like, if it was up to me, I'd be doing modules in, other languages right now. But, that's not going to help anybody. If I can't do it right here, it's going to be difficult to do other places. So, I focus on what you feel your calling and mission is to support these people and families with autism.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or mention?
I think the only thing I want to mention is how impressed I am by you and your
Thank you.
efforts and what you're doing. I think it's amazing. I think that you are prolific and talented. And I want to give kudos to your mom for pushing you, obviously got great parents. So I'm super thrilled and blessed to be, one of your subjects. And if there's anything I can do to support you or your family or anyone else, you just let me know.
Thank you so much. I'm equally thrilled that, you came and did this. And so I wanted to really thank you for taking the time to, share your insights and your experiences throughout this interview. Um, it's really inspiring to hear about your journey and kind of the impactful work you've done and are still continuing to do to create that kind of inclusive space for neurodiverse individuals and their families. And I look forward to hearing more about that. So, wishing you continued success in all your endeavors. Thank you so much for making the time.
And